What really caught my attention to this research was actually a couple of things. First, let's look at the primary outcome in regard to metabolism. Camu Camu, an Amazonian fruit, or fruit from the Amazon, I should say, increased resting metabolic rate, or increased the resting metabolic rate. How it did it was quite fascinating. It didn't do it through a stimulant effect, or direct stimulant effect, I should say. It did it potentially through the alteration, or the observed effect, of the alteration of the gut microbiota, which could be extremely beneficial to individuals which are in medically sensitive conditions, which can't really look at taking something as a stimulant type effect in regard to raising the metabolism. So beautiful, beautiful outcome in regard to that. Observation-wise, we want to see the proof in the future. Number two, the secondary outcome. When they put the animals on this high-fat, high-sugar diet, the Camu Camu had a unique effect on protecting the liver, which we'll look more at that towards the abstract itself. But I'm going to utilize that as a secondary outcome. As far as basically other benefits in regards to insulin sensitivity, glucose control, and so on and so forth, it yielded a tremendous, robust listing of other benefits per se, outside of just helping with raising the resting metabolic rate. So with that in mind, let us proceed. Also, please forgive me, we don't have human dosages because it's an animal study. And animal studies don't translate directly to human consumption anyways. So until there's either phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3 trials, we really are working with potential in regard to humans through this one particular animal study provided. Future studies pan out to have the same effect in humans as it does animals. So without further ado, let us proceed. Amazonian fruit prevents obesity in overfed mice. An extract of Camu Camu, a fruit native to the Amazon, prevents obesity in mice fed a diet rich in sugar and fat, says the researchers. The discovery suggests that Camu Camu phytochemicals could play a leading role in the fight against obesity and metabolic disease. The researchers fed 2 groups of mice a diet rich in sugar and fat for 8 weeks. Half the mice were given Camu Camu extract each day. At the end of the experiment, weight gain in the Camu Camu treated mice was 50% lower than that observed in the control mice, and was similar to the weight gain of mice consuming a low-sugar, low-fat diet. The researchers believe the anti-obesity effect of Camu Camu could be explained by an increase in resting metabolism in the mice that received the extract. I'll show you why they came to that hypothesis in a second. The researchers also found that Camu Camu improved glucose tolerance and insulin sensitivity and reduced the concentration of blood endotoxins and metabolic inflammation, kind of like a detox. Quote, all these changes were accompanied by a reshaping of the intestinal microbiota, including a blooming of A. muciniphila, or I should say A is actually standing for Akkermansia muciniphila, and a significant reduction in lactobacillus bacteria, quote the researchers. And this is how they discovered this hit and miss. The transplantation of intestinal microbiota from the Camu Camu group to germ-free mice lacking in intestinal microbiota temporarily, I can speak appropriately, please forgive me, reproduced similar metabolic effects. Camu Camu, quote, thus exerts a positive metabolic effect, at least in part, due to the modulation of gut microbiota, concludes the researcher. All right, now this part, we're going to go to the abstract of the study. And it's going to basically elaborate a little bit more detail on some of the benefits. But this one particular one I found quite fascinating, which could be a great boom for future research, especially for those suffering from fatty liver disease. To proceed, treatment of HFHS, high fat, high sugar, fed mice with CC, Camu Camu, prevented weight gain, lowered fat accumulation, and blunted metabolic inflammation and endotoxemia, and the Camu Camu treated mice displayed improved glucose tolerance and insulin sensitivity, and were also fully, it's a strong word when you hear fully, protected against hepatic steatosis. So basically, in other words, fatty liver disease, which is an incredible secondary outcome which will be held for future research, because Camu Camu, not just only potentially, again, I want to make sure we do human trials first before making any direct claims, has the potential to raise resting metabolic rate through alteration of the gut microbiome, reduction in toxins inflammation, and also at the same time protection against fatty liver disease is just fascinating. Again, I always encourage you to go to the abstract. If you're lucky enough to see the full study itself, really promising. Hope you find this information of use. Again, forgive me, cannot give human dosages since we don't have the human trials to work with yet. However though, potential looks astounding or outstanding or however you want to word it. Thank you very much for listening once again, and I look forward to see you all next week. We're off our channel, signing off. See you then.